IG. Daniel KC1 NCF tapping back in with you, family. This is a late one. I'm pushing it right now. It's almost 12 o'clock at night, but we had to get this daily survival tip in. Daily survival tip number 12. Eliminate idle time. Extremely important. You know, a lot of the things we do, I don't say a lot of things we do, but, there's a lot of times in life that we have things to do and we seem to never be able to find the time. People often use the excuse, just not enough time. It's not enough time in the day. I've said it so many times. I've let it come out of my mouth plenty of times. But one thing I can say is that I do try my best to eliminate idle time. And that's a tip that I want to give, because when it comes to survival and preparedness, again, it's something I say often. You don't know the day nor the time, the hour. You don't know what situation or circumstance will befall you, how or when, right? So you can't really afford to waste time sitting around doing nothing. Any time that you have to get something done, to accomplish something on your goal list, to tend to one of your priorities, you should take that time and do so. Sitting around on the couch doing nothing, watching pointless TV and movies. Try your best to eliminate some of that. We all, to some degree, at some point in time, have idle time, right? Again, whether you're watching TV, listening to music, sitting there staring at the ceiling, that time could be better used prepping yourself for whatever it is. It doesn't have to be for the end of the world, but maybe you're preparing your finances. Maybe you're preparing a meal for the next day. Maybe you're preparing something for your children to go to school the next day. But just don't sit there doing nothing is the point. Get up, get off the couch, get out of your phone, get out of your feelings, get out of your emotions, and do something that's going to help progress your life and push your life forward. Peace, we got agua. Agua. I don't know how I'm supposed to pronounce that with all them G's, but thank you for tapping in. Right? So this is actually very, 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 very important, because for those of us who have used that excuse, because it's really just an excuse, man, there's not enough time in the day. I guarantee if we go through our day, if we look back and look at what we did, and for how long we did it, whatever, we'd find some time that we could have used more wisely. And when things hit the fan, when something goes wrong, and you look back and say, dang, I wish I would have did that when I had the opportunity. Or, man, if I only had a little bit more time. You have that time somewhere. And if you're already a person who, you really do have a busy schedule and you don't have much idle time like that, then you might spend the time that you do doing something more wisely. Become more efficient in the things that you do. Some people don't believe that multitasking is a real thing. I happen to believe that it is. Multitask if you can. Do something to fill that time in better. So, what are some things that you can do if you find yourself with idle time? Read something. Research a subject that, you've been curious about. If you are already into prepping, learn how to do something more efficient. Learn a better way to start a fire, a faster way to start a fire. Learn a more efficient way to gather water or electricity. Learn how to distill water. Learn how to treat water. Do some exercises. Get your physical health in check by spending 10-15 minutes, on some cardio. They could be push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, dips. Maybe you get some weights and do some weights. Go running, go jogging for 15 minutes. We got Brown Boy News in the building. Thanks for tapping in. But the point of this is, if you have time, if you have idle time, you can be doing something else to prepare yourself for whatever. It doesn't have to be emergency. It doesn't have to be survival preparedness, even though that's what we talk about here on this channel. You hear them sirens, always sirens when I get on live. It's just living in the middle of the city. It is what it is. But the reality, man, is we spend a lot of time doing nonsense. We spend a lot of time wasting away on the couch, wasting away on our phones, right? You might take that time to teach somebody else something. Maybe you're like, well, I'm not interested in reading nothing. You'll find somebody who can utilize the knowledge that you have. Take on a mentee, somebody who can use up your time and give you some new purpose in life. Pick up a hobby. Do some gardening, indoor gardening. Learn how to grow food. That's a gift. That's a skill set that's going to transfer over They don't have to be the end of the world. Learning how to grow food is going to be beneficial in so many different ways. Not just you being able to access the food, but having that knowledge is an extremely valuable resource in itself. If things hit the fan tomorrow and you had nothing to barter with, and you had nothing to, hold you over, you could grow food. Trust me. You approach a community of people who have all the preparedness items in the world. They got all the stuff in the world, but they don't know how to plant a garden. I bet you they invite you into the community if you can prove that you can put some seeds in the ground and get that stuff to grow. Because it's not as simple as people think it is. Different plants require different types of sunlight, require different types of soil amendments, they require different types of attention. It's a real skill. It's not as simple as throwing a seed in the ground. That's actually a very great way to utilize that idle time, is to learn how to garden, learn how to grow fruits and vegetables, or maybe even medicinal herbs and stuff like that. Another good use of your time, again, I said, is working out. Another good use of your time could be, learning how to shoot, taking a martial arts class, learning self-defense. Another one that is going to be invaluable. In a grid town situation, go and learn how to build. I don't know if there's any kind of classes or anything in your area. I know they have programs. I'm here in the city of Boston. Boston always has all kind of programs going on where you can learn the building trades. Another thing that's going to be extremely valued in a post-collapse world. Thank you for having at Tomorrow on the other day. Very good show. Thank you for tuning in to watching. Yeah, I took their course. I took their gardening crash course, and it was awesome. And just so you know, when you're talking about going to learn gardening, if you don't know anything about gardening or planting and growing food, they will teach you what you need to do, whether you want to grow at home in a container, if you have just the backyard and a little bit of dirt out there. Test that soil, figure out what you need to do to it, amend that soil, and grow. If you have just a porch or windowsill that you can grow out of, if you do have access to a community garden, or if you have enough land to plant your own full garden, you know what I mean? They can teach you how to get started on any level. So they're a very good resource and very, extremely reasonably priced. Like, quite frankly, with the way the world is going right now, the demand for a class like that will skyrocket sooner than later. We see what's happening, all the dang land burning on the West Coast, all the drought in the Midwest and the West Coast. You best be learning how to grow some food, because either you're going to be paying exorbitant amounts of money for what is produced in this country, or there's going to be some other large-scale event that's going to cause a famine or something, or famine is on its way to some degree or another. I don't want to sound, doomish and all that kind of thing, but you just pay attention to the signs and it's there. So they're definitely a great resource. Tap in with Samad Gardens Initiative, Sarah Rose, and Blessings Divine. But I'm telling you, family, that time that you got sitting around doing nothing, idle time is... I'm not trying to get religious on you guys. I'm just going to repeat something that I think is true. Idle time is the devil's playtime. An idle mind is the devil's playground. And idle hands are the devil's play tools. That's facts. When you ain't got nothing to do, your lower desires start to kick in. You start to think about doing things that you probably shouldn't be doing. Maybe you've defeated all those lower desires. More power to you. Me personally, I like to stay busy. And I'm constantly learning. I like to learn. I like to do research. So what I do sometimes, if I don't have nothing else to do, I'll read. Typically, I'm reading like articles and stuff like that on my phone about what's going on with the droughts, what's going on. I spend a lot of time looking at the weather, global weather, what's happening locally, what's happening regionally, what's happening nationally, what's happening internationally, because that is going to have an impact on you. What's happening with the weather on a global scale has an impact everywhere. If you live in China, the weather here in the U.S. does affect you. If you live in the U.S., the weather in China does affect you. Our markets are tied together. What we produce and what they produce are all tied together. Their ability to utilize their resources and do X, Y, Z has an effect on us. Same thing for all the other nations, right? I just named the two because most people are familiar with the fact that China is one of the biggest trade spots in the world. They export a lot. And so, and people import a lot to China to be processed, to be export it around the world. So we send things to China to have it processed just for them to send it back to us. There's a lot going on with, relations internationally. So the signs are there, family. Get up off your butt. And that's daily survival tip number 12. Eliminate idle time. Please eliminate that idle time, family. I want to thank you all for tapping in with me. I appreciate it. You all have a blessed day. If you have not already, go back and check out my previous videos. Again, this is number 12, so there's at least 11 other ones, but I have plenty of other videos about survival. Most of my videos are actually typically kind of long, but I never get on here and just randomly rant. If I'm on here talking, I'm saying something. So check them out. Leave comments in the comment section if you're feeling them. Press that like button and invite somebody to watch the content as well. Daniel KC1 NCF, tapping out. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.